I've been watching a lot of Jim Brewer videos, and he has
Just old school stuff?
well, like it just kind of varies what's out there.
Right.
But like every time he slips into Joe Pesci, it's just so funny.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. He was on like a morning show, and they're like, "Oh, can you slip into Joe Pesci?" And he's like, "You know what? I would pay Joe Pesci $20 a month to be the voice of my GPS." And I'm like, "Hey, where you going? Hey, in about 300 yards, we're gonna turn right. We missed the turn." It's just so funny.
The ultimate Joe Pesci role for me was Lethal Weapon 3.
Yeah,
Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not sure I've seen them all.
Just,
Like it's
you know,
just-
it's him and Mel Gibson and Danny Glover,
Yeah.
and he's just the third party. I'm forgetting the name of his character in it, but it's like the ultimate / most annoying version of Joe Pesci. And he says
hilarious.
okay probably 100 times.
Yeah.
And okay.
That's what he said. Okay. Like,
Yes. Are you ready?
Let's do this.
Ready to crack?
Yes.
Showtime, baby.
oh!
I'm gonna mix some of my stuff. So there's that. What?
Yeah.
Who's sponsoring the episode?
No one.
Nobody? Let's see it. What is it? Yeah, not actually a sponsor
Michelob Ultra.
because we're not a big enough deal yet.
Yeah.
But for the low cost of $1 per episode, we could be a big deal, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
right. I'm a tenionaire. That's asking a lot.
I'm a tenionaire,
Single-aire?
a single air. Well, a millionaire. So a millionaire, you could be a 1,000-aire.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a big gap between that and a millionaire, and yet that is the next thing. I'm
you know.
a 10,000-aire.
I guess.
Is that how that?
I guess.
I don't know,
Do you got to keep it, or is it more consistent?
dude. I don't have any money.
Like, are you a millionaire because you made? Do you have a million?
It's once
or
you.
made it?
I think it's once you pass that threshold. Oh, I forgot. Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey.
welcome to the opposite of important. I am your host, Lance. Over here we have
Joe.
There he is.
That's a deep cold open we have.
Yeah.
Let's discuss what makes a millionaire. Is
Let's
it just
do that.
is it passing the threshold of having that much in your savings and liquidation?
One would think that it would need to be
Or is it
sustainable.
more like every 2 weeks you get your paycheck of $1 million.
I feel like,
because that's how it works. They wait for paychecks every 2 weeks.
yeah, but I feel like you would need to be not only pass the $1 million mark. I assume it's got to be in your bank account. Like it can't be, it can't be assets, right? Can it be assets?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the thing. We
Are-
haven't defined what a millionaire is.
Here's the thing: we should find out because it happened to us, right?
Working on it.
Right. I know.
It's through radio.
I'm working on our $1 million plan. Well, $2 million plan because 50-50.
See?
Yeah.
Or $500,000. I don't know.
Dude, if I could
Farmers could technically
if I could get let's say all right, if I could get $50,000 in my bank account, good. I'll feel good.
I feel like I made
Like I'm not set. I'm not
Yeah.
going to stop working. But if I could just have 50 grand sitting there waiting for me, just watching me, be like, "Hey, what's up?
Hey,
you want to
man.
come? You want to come spend something?"
don't burn me, bro. They're just sitting there.
Exactly. That would be
I've always
great. So just so
Yeah.
people know, I don't have that much in my bank account because of America
Thanks,
currently.
America.
However, holding out for that next stimulus. I don't know about you.
Gotta wait.
Here's the thing. Trump's not going to do shit.
Nah.
Especially if he knows that he's going to be out, he ain't going to do shit. Pelosi's my only hope for that stimulus.
Oh, go for Pelosi.
And what's his face? Who is always there with Pelosi? What's his name?
It's not computing.
Who
Chuck
is it?
Schumer? Chuck Schumer.
Chuck Schumer.
Yeah.
There he is.
New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. there you
So he's the one that's always kind of her bodyguard,
go. Yeah, pretty much.
so to speak.
It's like,
Can I introduce you to somebody?
let's do this.
All right. Alexa, say hi to Joe.
Hi there.
Whoa. Okay. All right.
What do you think about that?
That's pretty cool.
Ooh, you want to hear something fun?
Yeah.
Alexa, play the podcast opposite of important.
Here's opposite of important from Spotify. Resuming 61. Scratch me. Smell me. Shoot me.
Alexa, stop.
Does Alexa have a middle name or last name? Why don't we just call
I
her?
think you can call Alexa anything, right? Alexa, what can I call you?
I'm Alexa. I share this name with lots of amazing people.
That's great.
Let me guess. Is their name Alexa? No.
I'm gonna you tell me a story. I'm gonna make my drink.
Man, we lost a damn good actor.
Oh
This,
man, I forgot about that.
On
Yeah,
Halloween. Of
Yeah.
all, it's weird.
that's lame.
Sean Connery.
I'm gonna take this off.
All right.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh, we're arriving
Feels
on another
better.
paywall. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Yeah, that was bizarro, but it was also didn't really. I don't know. I didn't really feel anything from it. I mean, it was a bummer, but it wasn't like.
I think it's a bigger bummer for me. I really like Sean Connery.
Oh yeah, but for me, it was one. He was 90. Two.
He had a long life.
He hadn't worked for like 10 years, so it's not like
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher.
And movies. His
Where-
last movie was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I watched with my family
Yeah, I
within the
remember
last
that.
year.
I remember that.
And that was 2003.
Yeah.
That was the last movie he did. But cool dude, man.
Yeah.
Like I loved so many movies that he did. I'll continue in a second. But you were saying Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I didn't get the feelings I did with like Carrie Fisher, where
Right.
she's still working, and her death affected the next Star Wars installment. Because I wonder where they would have taken it if she was still alive, or what, you know. So I didn't get that thing of like, oh man,
It would have been great.
he was working on something and then they couldn't finish it, and so
Right.
you know, I just got this like, oh, he's dead. Okay, that was a fun time watching Bond, and you know what, you know,
It's
That's
kind of
pretty
how
fun.
I
Finding Forrester.
yeah. It's kind of how I felt when we lost Gene Wilder.
Sure.
And, you know, obviously just a big fan of the movies. And Gene Wilder maybe hit a little bit harder for me because I really loved his style as an actor. Like you know, his straight
Yeah.
comedic acting. And his book, I believe it's called Kiss Me Like a Stranger, is fantastic.
Really.
It's a wonderful book, and I only did the audiobook, but it's him reading it, and I'm not sure at what age he read it, but he sounds exactly the same. Like he didn't sound any older in it, but he was telling stories about, well, I mean everything, down to his relationship with Gilda, and it was just such a good, I want to say read, but it was a listen for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it was really cool.
Need it.
I have it if you want to listen to it.
That'd be kinda cool.
Because it's very good.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
And but similarly to Sean Connery, I hadn't heard anything about him or seen him or anything except for like once in the last 10 years where there was a picture of him out and about and he just looked so old.
Yeah. He just
And
was
he really did look frail and not like the same person
Yeah.
at all. And it's just crazy, you know, but I would like to think that they both enjoyed their time before the end. I think Becky read an article about Sean Connery. I didn't see this in the one that I read, but apparently he had been in the Bahamas for a while. He was living down there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Why not?
we were discussing, it was like, yeah, it's got to be a better option than Scotland.
Yeah. Right. It's like, all right, you're there, buddy.
With their winters and all that.
Ugh,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So that is a bummer, but I am excited to go back and watch some of the James Bond. movies again.
I'm like, well, here we go, Hollywood.
Yep.
And then I thought of that weird, like, it's one thing if it's a channel where there's nothing that's edited and they just put, like a Stars or something like that. They just throw it up there. But we were watching like Scream on your new TV for like a little bit. We weren't actively watching it. We were flipping through channels. And it's just kind of funny to me that, like, how would you like to be that person to figure out what to cut for, because 2 hours is really 145,
Right.
or one something with commercials they
Yeah.
got to pepper in. Whose job is it to cut out this little part, that little part, that little part? It's like,
Excellent question.
and then part of me is like, I don't want to watch regular TV anymore. Like, because they cut out, like, because what you said, you're like, they didn't show his guts.
They did. The scene at the beginning of the movie drew up. Well, I guess let's wrap this up. Sean Connery. Rest in
We're
peace.
kind of
Yeah. We'll lock that one up. we're done with that conversation. But yes, they the scene at the beginning of the movie with Drew Barrymore and Ghostface calling her, and then she's, check your boyfriend out on the porch, or I forget what he says. We sound exactly like Ghostface.
what? I don't even know who did that voice.
I don't know.
He should do cameo.
Exactly. Just the voice. It could be literally anybody
Yeah.
doing the voice.
You
But
can also book me for the ring. so $125 for your
and I call you and say 7 days.
boop, $125 or whatever it is.
Yeah, but it shows him out on the patio. She turns on the light and he's there. She says, turn off the light. And then it cuts back to him later and his guts, like, it's slashed through his stomach. So his intestines and guts are spilling out. And are intestines guts? Is that all the same stuff?
I would say so.
I don't know.
I'm professional.
It's all relative.
Yeah, I ran the numbers.
But it shows that in the actual movie. So when it was on, it must have been on like Fox or something like that.
Yeah.
And they just, like, it's a hard crop on the upper half of
So you kind of
him.
get just like here.
Yeah.
Like,
and
oh,
it's so
no.
you just see the head go.
Boop.
That was it.
Sad.
I need my guts.
Yeah.
And Scream isn't a very, it's not a very gruesome movie.
No.
Like, I think that's
More
that's
suspenseful. And
yeah. There's the part, spoilers, I suppose, with Drew Barrymore, getting stabbed while she's running, and there's a lot of chasing, and there's the garage door scene. But overall, it's a pretty not gory movie for a Wes Craven.
Yeah.
Coming off of Freddy and anything else that he did.
It's a little more suspenseful, a little more
Yeah.
like detectives going around like, oh, we got clues, who did this, and blah, 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 blah. And
Yep.
it's like, oh, man. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am wondering, how often do you have dreams, Joe?
I could have them, but it's remembering them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should maybe write it down if I think of it.
Keep a journal by your bed.
Yeah. Or just like, tonight I had a dream. Just, I don't know.
What's the last dream you remember having?
I think it was boring. I think I had one not too long ago, but it was just, I don't even know it right now. But one was like maybe a few months ago that was really prominent. I was in some sort of professional medical setting because of cancer, and then had a doctor tell me like, oh, we found a cure for your cancer. And then it's like I woke up after. That's a heavy one. But
Yeah.
that's one I remember. Or it was just like, I don't know. It was maybe something in my head that's like, you'll be fine. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Dream sequences. Like, you can look into it, but
Yeah. I very much do not remember my dreams typically, like, at all. But I had one. I can't remember if it wasn't last night. It was the night before last night. And a lot of times you have dreams where they don't get to play out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something's happening and then you wake up, whatever. And again, much like you, I very rarely remember my dreams. I can remember over my lifetime, I bet that there's maybe 5 dreams total that I could recall. And a lot of them happened high school or earlier. And for some reason they just stuck with me.
Yeah.
It's weird stuff. Like just crazy shit happening in dreams. But I had one that happened 2 nights ago, and the whole thing played out, and it's kind of a bummer what the dream was for me, because if I'm going to remember something, I want it to be something good.
Yeah.
Something juicy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In this dream, there was a guy that I know in real life that I haven't known in a long time, and he was a friend of mine for a bit in high school until he decided to get a little frisky with my girlfriend that I had at the time in high school. And in this dream, all of that still existed, but it was like he somehow got a hold of me and wanted to rekindle a friendship. About a year ago, I got a Facebook invitation or a Facebook friend request, I guess you should say, from him, but I straight up ignored it. I know that I clicked it to see like his picture because I wanted to see
Like,
if I was doing better than him.
I'm like, yes.
And so I clicked it out of curiosity, and then I hit ignore. But that was like a year ago, and for some reason this just popped up in my head. But it was a long, like, played out whole scene in this dream of me saying no, I don't want to do this.
Oh my gosh.
But it was like it felt like an entire conversation was going on, and then like we would relocate to a different area, and then the conversation continued, and I'm like, this isn't happening. I don't want to be your friend.
No, stop it.
And then it brought up all of the feelings that I had when he did what he did.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that story now.
Ah.
Did I ever tell you about this?
You may have told me some details. I'm not sure,
Off of the microphones.
Yeah.
So I was dating this girl named Carly.
Carly.
That's how she pronounced her name.
Carly.
And she went to Ames High. I was going to Nevada High.
Close.
Let's call it High.
Yeah.
And HS. Good old Nevada Cubs. And we had been dating for some time. I was starting to be better friends with this guy. We'll call him Dustin because that's his name. And
Right.
just keep it
to, protect the innocent.
to protect. Yeah, because he's not innocent at all.
No.
And in hindsight, we were not good friends. I thought that this friendship could have gone somewhere, but in hindsight, I'm looking back and I'm realizing how much effort that I was putting into it versus what I was seeing.
Right.
And the way that I was being treated, and then also subsequently what was about to happen. And that is this. He started taking classes over at Ames High. And then I knew about this. Everything was on the up and up, and they knew each other. They had met. And then one day I went to pick her up after school because that was the plan. And I had to take her to an appointment, a therapy appointment, which that's a whole other story about all that. But I was going to be taking her to that. I was waiting in this weird line that's probably for parents, I assume.
Okay.
But I had left school early from Nevada because I didn't care about it to go and pick her up, and then I see Dustin's truck there, and he had extremely tinted windows on this black truck, and most likely illegal at the time, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And he must have seen me, but I didn't see him see me because of the windows. But once I was there and I saw Carly come out and she saw the truck, and then I saw the truck and I saw her by the truck, and he sped off. And not even in a nonchalant way. He was getting the fuck out of there. And so I picked up Carly and I said, what was that? And something unfolded in between the high school and her house that was maybe, I don't know, like 12 blocks in Ames. So it takes a little bit, but not bad.
Sure.
And then she tells me that like maybe a week ago or something like that, that he had brought her home after his class was done and her class was done. And then he tried to make a move on her in the car. And she said, but nothing happened. And I said, whoa, let's back this up. Something definitely happened because
He's picking you up.
well,
Like, what the fuck?
not only picking up, but making the move in the first place. That's a big something happening. Am I right?
Yep.
And then the story keeps unfolding. And she said, yeah. And then I guess he did come into my house and then he tried making a move again. And he's well aware that we are a couple and have been a couple for some time.
Right.
So I'm just trying to wrap my
Like,
fucking
and then
head
what?
around this. The fact that she didn't tell me about this when it happened, and the fact that I think it must have been like a day or two earlier, I was hanging out with him and he's pretending like we're friends.
Right. Oh,
Like,
nothing's happening.
Fuck you.
Uh-huh.
And here's the worst part, okay? I must have been so fucking desperate for friendship that I actually hung out with him a little bit more. I was an idiot.
Right.
I was a fucking idiot. And I was like, there's still something there, right? Like we can still be friends and we can work through this. And then I remember there was one time at his house in his basement, which is where his room was. And he, something had happened where I needed to call Carly. And then he had some sort of question for her. And it created this weird moment where I told her, it was so weird.
Yeah.
And it's putting me in a weird headspace just bringing this up again.
Sure.
Because he wanted to ask her a question and so I'm trying to be like a mediator here because I don't want him to fucking talk to her directly because it's weird. And I'm almost kind of in denial about everything that happened because I had never had that happen to me before. And I liked her so much and I still wanted to be his friend. And yeah, she didn't really do anything, but I didn't feel comfortable with me just like handing the phone over because all of this had just happened literally a week earlier.
Fresh. Yeah.
And I remember saying to her on the phone, I said something like, do you not remember the conversation? Like, and Dustin's still in the room and I get kind of quiet in the corner and she's like, well, just put him on the phone. And I'm like, do you not understand the situation right now? I don't want you to talk to him because it's fucking weird. And I don't know. We're all great friends today. So.
Oh, man.
No, we're not.
Let's call her up. No, they do that shit on like Star 102.5 around here.
I've heard some of that. And they're like, why are you not returning their phone call? She's like, because he's a dirtbag.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for calling.
It's
Yeah,
so
but
weird.
like what they do is like they'll have I don't know how they set it up. Maybe they set it up. I'm not sure, but they basically find a couple that went on a date and then they have someone call in and either the guy or the girl and explain the date. Where'd you go? Do you feel like it went well? Good, great.
Yeah.
Most of the time it doesn't, and that's what gets the ratings, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets kind of fun because they explain it, and it's like, oh, hold on, we have so and so on the line. How about you tell your side of the story? Well, here's the deal. We went, like the girl. This one was good, where the girl was there. Oh, I know what it was. The guy was like, well, I don't know. We went to the local movie theater and we watched a movie and, everything, I thought it went well. And then she just never called me back. I don't know. I just don't know.
So weird.
And then it goes to the girl and turns the tables. Well, I had to like pay for his popcorn and then, or whatever, it just all unfolds and goes awry. And then he had to talk through every single scene and this. And that.
Wow.
It's just like, oh, okay.
Deal breaker.
It was just so funny, the contrast to that.
I just remembered another little bit of information
Yeah.
to wrap this story up
Here
in a
we
nice
go.
bow. the last time that I hung out with him, he was interested in some other girl that lived out in the country, somewhere outside of one of the small towns that Nevada was around. And I was in his car, and I remember feeling like this friendship was pretty much done, but he had asked me to come with him somewhere or whatever, so I did. And he was telling me about this girl. And at the time, I was just like, great, be into somebody else because this whole thing is fucking weird.
God.
Oh,
It's a soap opera right there.
I don't like, I enjoy kind of retelling the stories, but when it puts me in that headspace of how I was feeling and it's so weird because it was so long ago. You know what I mean?
Still doesn't mean,
but then it takes you back there and it's fucked.
Not fun. I know.
No, it's not.
I know.
But anyway, the best part of the story is that he was telling me that he was really interested in this girl and he was trying to, like, he had seen her somewhere and they knew each other, but they didn't know each other well. That's important to this part of the story. And he didn't know the best way to tell her that he liked her. And so he pitched an idea to me that
this is going to be $1 million idea.
Oh my God.
I feel this pitch coming.
This is 100% factual. we're in his truck and he said, so here's what I was thinking about doing. I'm going to go to Walmart and I'm going to get a picture of me printed and maybe like a 5x7 or something like that. Maybe even an 8x10. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip it up and I'm going to send it to her in different envelopes.
That sounds like
in pieces.
Fucking serial killer.
And I'm like, that is a great idea.
Do it.
You should definitely do that. And that was the moment that I realized how much smarter I was.
Like, go for it, buddy.
This person.
Oh my God.
That's a true story that happened to me, and I think that was the last time I ever talked to him.
But like, I don't know how much that would be planned out. Separate envelopes. Is he smart enough to like put it together and then piece, or is it just going to be all sporadic?
He was explaining it that it was going to be like days in a row, that it would be another piece of the picture,
one piece,
and that eventually it would reveal that it's him that's in love with her. Yeah.
How do you even start that? You got a corner piece and like, good God.
The moral of the story is that I was far too desperate for friends.
My God,
For
you could write that shit down in
real.
some sort of, I don't know. That feels like that piece of the mailing in seems like something that'd be on Netflix or something like that. It's like,
I remember hearing that part of it and something clicked in my head. I'm like, this motherfucker is crazy.
nope.
I have to get out of this truck immediately.
go.
Yeah.
He's paying more in postage than he is for the enlargement. Like,
Here's the thing. I'm not even sure he was going to pay for postage. I think he was going to go and drop it off.
oh my God.
I'm serious.
This is great. You can't write that shit. It'd be real puzzle pieces if you wrote it.
I don't know why did I continue to hang out with this after everything that happened? And really, emotionally, I should have checked out of the relationship with Carly because she didn't tell me anything.
You know, hindsight's 20/20, and you'll beat yourself up for it. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, I've made dumb decisions before.
I mean, I had my first girlfriend was when I was 15. I think I was way codependent.
Sure.
And like I just felt more comfortable in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so when me and the first girlfriend were done, then I just went straight on to the next one.
Makes sense.
And they were very similar, except for like their religious beliefs were way different because I really wanted to get away from the other one
Like,
and what that was all about. But other than that, looks wise, very similar. And that's not a great basis for a long lasting relationship.
Right.
So
When you like, hey, you remind me of my ex. There.
yeah. Well, I don't think I said that.
But
And I don't know.
It's up in the noggin.
Yeah.
Don't gotta say it.
So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that story.
Whew, God. Mailing pieces of God, you
It was the greatest thing I had ever heard.
just like
The the absolute greatest thing I've ever heard.
I wish that you would have like came up with even worse ideas to like feed into it.
I hope he did it. And I hope she's his wife.
Yeah, because they would have that weird story. He just kept mailing me pieces of.
So then his
fucking
kids are
photographs.
like, Dad, you are fucking crazy.
right? You know, in the closet somewhere, it's all taped together. You know, somewhere like this is what your dad mailed me. It's all look. It looks like a jigsaw puzzle.
Is it weird hearing stories about how people that you knew like independently back in the day about how they got together and ended up being a couple, you know, this person from high school and this person from high school or whatever. I don't know. Curiosity.
I know a few that, were definitely high school sweethearts and they're still married today and have kids, which is like, that's amazing at such a young age. And it's like, it's fun to look at them and be like, man, like middle school, like you just have like these memories and it's just kind of like, most of the time it's someone went off to college and you meet in college or whatever the case is. But yeah, we had a couple of those. I can't really name them, I guess, but I know they're out there like, oh yeah, my own friends in my own grade wound up getting married. Yeah.
Oh.
So all of us, so they were both 07 like I was, and now they have 2 kids. So it's just kind of like, all right, you know, but it didn't happen until like after high school that we're like, oh, those 2. Yeah. Okay. You know, and then now they have kids and it's just kind of a bizarro, like, all right.
Yeah.
It seems to work, you know, but yeah.
That's funny. What was your longest high school relationship?
I was only in one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was with our friend.
Oh, yeah.
That we all know.
And how long was that?
I want to say November to like March.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were busy.
I was dumb.
You had
I was such a dumbass.
We were all
I know.
based on that story that I
But-
just told you. I was probably equally as dumb.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing.
I know.
You're
Yeah.
just like, girls pretty.
It's just like
And your fucking hormones and emotions are
Right.
just crazy.
just vacuum tubes up there. Just,
Yeah.
just
firing up.
yeah.
Oh, man.
So I don't know. Yeah, that's probably the best year of my life as far as high school life was.
Yeah.
Junior year. You know, I was on the honor roll. I had,
What happened?
My grades turned around. Like I did something that I'm like, how do I have a girlfriend and my grades are good? I'm like, this isn't me. Like this, or I figured out how to cheat, or I don't know.
And then you were like, well, time to wrap this up.
Yeah, and then I don't know, like junior. I don't know about you, but like junior year was like the sweet spot because
Yeah.
you were upperclassmen, you knew the most people, you had the most friends, you know, and in theory of just knowing people.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of sucks a little bit. Like senior year was okay. It wasn't nearly as fun as junior year. I think that was kind of the last year where I just didn't have to worry about like, oh man, what college am I going to go to? And you know, like it was fun. It was a fun year. And then it was a tough year too, because you know by prom my grandma passed away in a car accident. You know, so it was like, and then senior year, you know, all your upperclassmen friends are gone. You know, and so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take freshman classes. I never took intro to art, so I'm going to take intro to art. All freshmen. And I was like, all right, let's do this. You know, like I started taking ag classes. I was like, all right, let's learn about farming. Who cares?
I didn't. Well, I guess there was a few required ag classes, if I'm remembering right. But then also I joined FFA just because I was in one of those ag classes, and I forget what the name of it was. But I found out that there was a radio broadcasting thing in FFA competition, so I did that.
Not just speech, really.
Yeah, it was.
That's bizarre.
Well, I mean, there was speech. Speech was a whole separate thing, but then FFA had their own thing, and Mr. Cooper, who was the teacher, I think he might even still be there. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But because old, I'm very old, and I did it. I remember being in the bleachers of whatever school that we were visiting, and I was waiting for everything to kick off, and everybody was fucking just hanging out, waiting for the big speech to start or whatever. And I was cranking up. This would have been at the time of my life where I was listening to nothing but 80s music, and I was singing the song 8675309 Jenny.
Yep.
And Tommy Two Tone, I believe. And I had an old habit of having my headphones on and just singing at a normal volume.
I like that
and
too.
and I was doing that and going through a bag and whatever. And then before I knew it, everybody was looking at me
They're like,
because
"Hey."
they had told everybody to be quiet, but I was still singing.
Oh.
And nobody told me. So I took them off and I said, please continue. And then it started. And I did well at whatever preliminary thing it was. You would get tossed into a room with all these other people, and obviously the people that are competing with you for the same thing. And they give you a bunch of newspapers and X amount of time, and you need to come up with a news broadcast that is a certain amount of time, and you have to have ads in there that are a certain amount of time.
Yep.
And that was that. And you had so much time to put it together. Once you had it done, once that time was finished, then they take it away from you, and then they give it to you again when you go in and read.
Okay.
And I remember feeling very good about it. But what I used to do, and maybe I still do it, I don't know, when I get nervous, I would speed up.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
normal.
I came in like 5 seconds or so under the time. And so they said that they couldn't give me the prize they couldn't give me the award or whatever that I would have earned. And they said they told somehow I ended up finding out that I would have placed, or I would have gone on to Allstate or whatever the fuck they called it.
Right.
But because I was under, they couldn't do it. And they couldn't make any exceptions.
Really?
But it was I'm telling you, it was like 5 seconds. It was crazy.
That happened to our friend Mickey Belding, which
Yeah.
oddly enough, we're going through Halloween shit, and I go downstairs and I get the Halloween bucket out. I come across the individual speech shirts that we made. It's a medium. I'm like, nope, that's not fitting. And it was from 2006, and it had all the we basically put inside jokes of the day on the thing. And that same thing happened similarly to Mickey Belding. And he was a year younger than I was, but he did radio broadcast, and I think he came like 1 second over. Like it wasn't much, but it was one of those things where he did really well, and so he automatically got a 4, which is dequalified.
Shoot.
So we're like, "Hey, Mickey, how's that going for you?" You know, there you go. Like, son of a bitch. But
Bummer.
yeah, so that kind of brought me back a little bit. But yeah, individual speech, I did that. I did poetry, but I don't know. I was not good at individual speech. You think I would be, but now it's like I did. What did I do? I didn't join speech until junior year. Like, I don't know. My brother always did it. Maybe sophomore. I think it was sophomore year. That's right. And my brother always did it, and I didn't really come out of my shell until sophomore year, and he moved out. So yeah, I did all the one act plays and did really well with that. And then they're like, "Oh, why don't you do like individual?" I'm like, I don't know. It's a whole other ball game, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, fucking fine. We'll see what the hell happens, you know.
I don't think I had the confidence.
I did I think I do better with bigger crowds.
Yeah.
People-
That's interesting.
yeah.
I don't think I would have. And my lack of confidence would then just dial up. And I don't remember knowing that anxiety was even a word
Or yeah.
back in the day.
Or what these feelings are.
Exactly.
You know.
And I know that that's what it was, but I didn't I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't know that anybody would even understand what I was saying. And then lo and behold, 10 years later, you know, my brother going through very similar stuff with what they then started to call ADHD as opposed to ADD, you know, then all of a sudden there's medication you can take to focus on
Like,
school.
oh, interesting.
And I didn't have any of that
Yeah.
shit. I had nothing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I learned that, I mean, I did well in like speech classes.
Nice.
So I had automatically an audience of 20 and I felt very comfortable. But when it got down to individual speech, when you go to, depending on what you have, you're in a classroom with fluorescent lights and maybe 6 people. Depending on the timing, depending on how popular you might be, because we tried to like follow each person into their own, to kind of give them some support and everything like that. So I'm just kind of like, I didn't do well for individual speech. And one of the night, it happened like one of those, what is it? We had a variety show that same night. And I had a one man act. So I started act 2
And who was the man?
for
I'm kidding.
what?
I know it was you. I'm
Yeah.
just fucking with you.
It's all me. So I'm like, okay. So when all the I was in some bits, you know, I really changed over to being on stage like my senior year, because I always used to be involved with doing sound in the sound booth, and I'm like, you know what, let's change it up, let's do something new. And so I wound up training some other people. I'm like, hey, you do this, and I'll go, okay, good, there you go. And it worked out fine. But the fun part was I did a thing called what was it? So we kind of did, each year we'd offset. So we do a musical one year, and then we do a variety show, and then we do a musical and variety show.
Oh, okay.
That kind of thing. So it landed on variety show. And I started the second act as Joe the stagehand. I was the only act that was one person, because every other person that kind of, you know, sometimes we would shut the curtains and there would be like a small act in front of the curtains, and then that would set up the scene for the next thing. And I started act 2 as Joe the stagehand. And I talked to the audience and I juggled, told some jokes, and I was like, that was the same day as individual speech. Individual speech happened, and I only had like 3 or 4 people, and I was stuttering and I was tripping. I'm just like,
Oh no.
this is going well.
Yeah.
So, and then I got like a 2, or it's like a, you did fine, but you could have done better kind of one.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And then that night, you know, I think it was just in my head that like, all right, I juggled. I did one of these tricks where I juggled in front of everyone, and then I let the ball fall and I hit it like a hacky sack.
Yeah.
Back up, and then I went back into juggling mode. It's on I have it on DVD. I'll have to show you.
Nice.
Yeah, some 16 head of hair, just all mop toppy, you know, and I did well. I did really well. And some people were saying like, that was the best act of the night. Like, you did really well for one person. Everyone else did like a ventriloquism thing, you know, or whatever it was.
Lame.
But I felt like I did pretty well that night, of just like, fuck it, all right, screw speech right now.
I wish that I would have had more confidence to do things like improv. I remember seeing some of the people in high school. I later on did improv in college. I don't know why it took me a second to figure out that word, but I was part of an improv and theater group in college, which was interesting. I guess that's a whole other thing. I'll get into that later. But maybe we'll see. Maybe my brain won't bring me back to it. But I just remember seeing some of the people doing improv, or whatever it is that they called that, for speech competitions. And I remember being fairly jealous that I didn't have the confidence to do that.
There's that, and my brother was in it for 4 years for improv, and I never was, but it was just kind of like, oh, what games are you playing? Okay, and how do you... And you know what? You're still... I don't know how many people you had in your improv, like, I guess...
In college?
Yeah, like college is different because like you can write pre-done stuff and have, you know, but for high school improv, it was just, you're thrown into a group that was made by your coach.
Right.
So you had to like find the right personalities that blend together. And then at sometimes there were 5 people in an improv group, and that never worked. Because there's 2 people that are like trying to, no, okay, well, they don't really have any lines or say anything, you know, and the magic number was 3, you know, and my brother and a couple of his tight friends were there, and in a group, and they were like, oh my God, like everyone loved them. It was so much fun to watch.
I remember just being very envious / jealous that the other people could do that. And I remember watching, and I think it was anxiety. That's exactly what it was.
You got to let it loose. I don't know how well I'd do it. That'd be fun to try.
It was always anxiety for
know?
me that stopped me from doing stuff. But I just thought that I was different from other people and that nobody else was experiencing that. And that held me back from a lot of stuff that I wish I would have done. Then I got a little bit more confidence in college, but I think it's because initially I didn't know any of those motherfuckers.
Yeah. And you're like,
You know what I mean?
what's the, yeah.
Yeah. And there was the instructor at Kirkwood in Iowa City. His name was Patrick Keys.
Bat keys.
Yeah, that's how he said it. And I got involved in his troupe, but he was also, so he was a teacher at Kirkwood, but then he went back to school to be a student at the University of Iowa. So this is kind of an interesting story that we will get into after the break. See how I did that?
Yeah.
It's so smooth.
Good timing.
Good God.
In and out.
I just realized that we needed to take one.
Yeah.
And, oh, wow, we've been talking for a minute. All right.
Jesus.
There it is. All right.
And we're back.
Back at it.
Welcome to Mr. Movie Phone.
Welcome
Improv.
to Movie Phone.
Yeah.
Why don't you just tell me what you want to see? That is probably one of the funniest parts.
You
from
have chosen Brown-Eyed Girl.
Seinfeld, everybody.
Yeah.
Seinfeld. Go watch it.
Yeah, if you got time.
Yes. So my instructor at Kirkwood was a student at the University of Iowa, and he asked me to be in a one-act thing. And I wish I could remember the name. I bet I could reach out to him. He's on Facebook. I wish I could remember the name of the show, but I ended up being in it with two other dudes. And one of the dudes actually went on to be in movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
And so I'd have to look up his name. I apologize. Actually, Alexa, what is the lead actor in I Love You, Beth Cooper?
Oh, Paul Rust. Yeah, he went to
I'm not sure.
Lamar's.
Oh.
He lived in Lamar's, and he actually knew my roommate.
You're my new Alexa.
Yeah, it's Paul Rust. Yeah,
That's him.
yeah. So you worked with, or you?
I was in a show with him.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And then later on, I found out that he was going to be in a movie. Somebody had told me about it. And and it had been a minute since I had seen him. But sure enough, it was the same motherfucker
Well, hey, it's
that I
Paul
was in a
Rudd.
show with.
Yeah, when
And
I
then
Love You,
didn't he end up doing something in...
Inglorious Bastards, very small, and
Yeah.
then he was in Love on Netflix.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, only 2 seasons, but worth it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he was a nice guy, and we only got together a few times, and then we all did our stuff separately. And dude had me do, the instructor, not Paul, had me do one other show for him. I don't know. He liked me, but it wasn't. I don't think it was a weird like. I think he just liked the way I did shit. Whatever. I was more comfortable in college, I suppose. But then he had me do another show with him that was me and this other girl, and I don't remember taking it too seriously, but she did not know her shit. And our instructor, who then became kind of our friend and then asked us to do these things, he was being graded on this performance, and she said line. She called line so many fucking times
The worst.
in this live thing that he's getting graded on, and I knew all of my shit, but it felt like every other one she was calling line, and it was hella awkward sitting on a couch with her. It was painful.
Let me tell you, shut it off.
Now, the one that I did with Paul Rust, he, if that is his real name, because I don't remember, but I think he was not wearing any clothes, but he was wearing an American flag as clothes.
Makes sense.
I have no idea. It's one of those short-term memory things. I just learned my lines and I did what I was supposed to do, and then that was it.
Done.
And then, I mean, any of the fucking shows that we've done here in town for community theater.
Yeah.
Like, I can remember songs because of what they are, but lines from a show,
Yeah.
I can't. It's there for when I need it, and then as soon as I'm done, I check out and it's gone.
As a member of the press, I'm exempt from your quarantine, Lieutenant. Daryl Grady, the Boston Globe. Anyway.
Well played.
Yeah, that's my first line ever.
Ever?
In Judge Story. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't know where that story was going. Oh,
Whoop.
yes, my improv group. It was really cool because after the fact, Pat Keys would call me and Pat would call me and see if I was just available or in the area for whatever troupe that he was working with. I don't even know if they call it troupe, group that he was working with at the time. Yeah. And I remember one time in particular, we were driving back from St. Louis. We were doing something with Becky's family. And this is prior to us being married, I think, even. And he just gave me a call and said, "Hey, I didn't know if you were around. If you happen to be available, you would be an ace in the hole for this live show we've got set up." And I remember being very flattered that he would think of me like that. It was really cool.
You were on retainer pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like,
if he happens to listen to this, he's a great dude, and it was always a pleasure doing that stuff.
Pat Keys.
There was a guy in our group. His name was Brian, I believe. And I checked in on him later. He was like a hardwired Chris Farley mixed with, good God, I don't know, like a Dan Aykroyd, and he was just very. He was so out there. He was so crazy. And I remember for the majority of the time that I knew him, he had blue hair, like blue and black hair. And I remember going to a bar with everybody, and he brought in one of those fake cigarettes that had weed in it, and we're like passing it under the table. And I think that was the first time I ever had anything. And then like Pat showed up and sat at the booth with us, and it was like a big secret. And it was me, him, and this girl named Jamie. And I don't know. I just remember having nothing but good times with him. And we would reenact certain skits, like the Get Off the Shed thing with Will Ferrell. Yeah, so mix in Will Ferrell in that thing too. The way that he would go from talking normal to just shouting, and he was perfect for that.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah. So like those three dudes, that was basically like what he was. And I checked in on Pat at some point and brought him up, and he ended up telling me that he was in Chicago doing theater, and he had overdosed on heroin. I was like, what?
Okay.
It was just so weird.
I'm going to take a step back from you. It's like, yikes.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to do that, like in a different level, you know?
But at the same time, I just wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
Because that seemed like he could very easily go that route, but what a bummer,
like,
you know?
Nope. It's like, yikes.
Anyway.
That'd be fun to try, maybe do in our friend group, maybe. I don't know.
Improv?
Just, yeah. I mean, I've never done it. I mean, it'd be kind of fun just to try out a couple games, you know? But it's like, I think I almost got put into one my senior year, but it's just like, do the personalities match up? Can we flow? You know, what are practices going to be like? Like, choppy? You know, it's like, you got to really, I don't know, like, you get thrown into, I don't know. You just get thrown into it, and you kind of got to trust the other guy to kind of just, all right, work with what you're listening to, and just keep it going.
It was an interesting experience doing a live show like that in like a community college setting, and then we found some random fucking building that Pat had found, and just set up chairs in there and made like a weird fake stage. I've got other stories that I could tell you off the microphone that are pretty funny, but it was the first time I had ever done anything like that it wasn't a pre-set up thing, that there's other people that are kind of obligated to be there. You know, you're actually getting people in there that want to come out to see this thing, and they would buy a ticket and all of that. I remember I would always get kind of picked for the Phil Hartman type parts.
Yeah, where it's kind of announcy voice.
Yeah, talk show host,
kind of
something
straight,
like that.
A little more straight guy, and just set up. And then,
I was moderately straight in college.
I mean, you got to experiment, man. Come on.
Come on.
Everybody does it. I don't know.
Don't mind my painted nails. It was part of I did one hand last night for the thing at Halloween at the bar. So I did a mashup of
Mugatu.
yeah, it was like a half. It was part Mugatu, part not. And then
Thanks, I hate it.
And then I'm right, my shirt. And then I'm right-handed, so I could do my left hand with the nails. And I'm like, well, that's good because I'm not left-handed, and I knew I was going to fuck up the other hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So that
Yeah.
explains that. Sorry about that.
That's rad. That's cool.
What else? What?
We went trick or treating last night, sort of.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
nicely done.
Oh, and then you broke our microphone.
Well, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Come right out of my paycheck that I'm not getting.
Someday?
$16,
Someday.
Yeah. Keep on subscribing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did a trunk or treat. It was fun. Your daughter's a aspiring Minecraft YouTube star,
Yeah.
you know. And then my nephew, who's almost 6, like keeps asking every day, when's she gonna do another one? When's she gonna do? And then I'm like, I know her, you know. And it's like you might see her tonight. I don't know. I'll ask. No guarantees. I'll see, you know. And then you're like, we're gonna be past your house in like 2 seconds. And I'm like, Simon, get over here, get over here. Why? He was like confused. I'm like, hold on. And I see the big van coming around. And just hi Simon. It's like, well, that was her. There you go. There you go.
Waved at by a celebrity.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
That was kind of fun.
That's
and
very
then,
cool.
Yeah, we did the trunk or treat, and then my little nephew went as a creeper from Minecraft.
It was very believable.
Yeah,
I was intimidated.
just kind of went down there. And I reprised Banana Joe, and I didn't think I was gonna do it. Someone told me to do it. I'm like, all right.
You're like, all right, I'm a pushover.
Yep.
I'll do it.
You know what? Facebook memories.
Yes.
I've had that costume since 2013.
Wow.
Been 7 years, and I'm like, all right.
Now you did point out there was some stains
Yes.
on the costume.
From Drunk Banana.
I feel like I understand it's polyester, but I feel like you could probably wash it.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared.
Unless it's a pride point.
Well,
You want the stains.
you know, it shows.
Pretty soon it's going to look like a bruised banana.
I've lived a lot. I've lived a lot.
Oh, man.
God, that's fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. Oh, well. I'll just bust it out next year.
Might as well.
Yeah.
I was going to do a thing, but I don't have the iPad on me.
Son of a bitch.
I want to start a new segment.
Segment.
That's like headlines, and I want us on Sunday to talk about some news stuff. And we kind of touched on Sean Connery, and that is a very very recent
Well, how
development.
political do we want to get?
What's that?
How political do we want to get?
I don't know. Let's get as political as we are comfortable with, and we'll try to not bore the shit out of people.
Well, I saw the bus situation.
That was fucked, right?
Biden Harris.
Now, I haven't really seen anything about that afterward. Explain to everybody what happened, just in case they're under a rock.
Biden Harris bus showed up in Texas, and then there was a whole parade of Trump supporters that were slowing it down and running into staff cars that were following it.
Right.
And then they had to cancel like an event and kind of go to the next spot.
There's a lot of talk about Texas possibly going blue.
Hasn't gone blue since Carter in the 70s. But who knows? I don't know.
What year was that? I want to know. Because what if it was like something like 72? Hasn't been blue since 1972. I'm coining that.
I was watching Meet the Press and like all the political shows this morning, and they said Georgia hasn't turned blue since the Carter era when
Oh, wow.
they voted for Carter. So I'm like asking my parent, like, how? Well, you know, one, Carter's from Georgia, so he's got, you know, some roots there. So that makes sense. And then I was like, well, what about Texas? Like, they always say, like, Texas hasn't turned blue since this year or since Carter, and it's just been red ever since. Now that seems to be the goal to, like, let's flip Texas. Like, oh my gosh.
How are we feeling about Donald Trump right now?
Not great, but, like, if there's a chance where we don't see him as much, then yay. Mm-hmm. We'll see it Tuesday.
What do you think's going to happen if he doesn't make it?
He's gonna tweet. He's gonna do the same things of like, this isn't.
It's rigged.
You know, it's rigged, and it's the same shit we've been hearing.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's gonna throw shade at Biden for fill in the blank reasons, and I think that'll cause. I think it'll cause more bullshit coming our way. In ways of like, oh well, this they're going to throw even more conspiracy theories and more, because right now it's all about Hunter Biden's laptop, even though that was debunked. They're going to throw
It's
more
the
shit.
exact same thing that happened in the last election.
Yeah.
Hillary's emails.
Yeah.
Just bringing it up X
Biden's
amount of time before the actual election and possibly fucking everything up. Hopefully that's not the case this time. And it will be in favor of the Democratic nominee. According to, this is my opinion. I don't know if I speak for Joe. I know he's got a lot of Trump apparel that he rocks during the week.
Whoops.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm hearing a lot of things, people saying that they're looking forward to Tuesday to be done, so that way they're not going to be posting political stuff anymore. But I don't know that it's going to stop.
No.
Then
I can picture if Trump wins somehow, then I feel like postings will kind of slow down. But if he loses, I think postings and like bull crap and like, you know what I'm saying? It's like articles that you can't verify that are true are going to come out. People are just going to be reacting to, oh, what about this? Oh, this is rigged. I feel like progressive Democrat people, they tend to take more of a high road,
yeah.
but I can see a shitstorm of people being like, this is rigged and this is all you're, pointing fingers. But I also think what crossed my mind was like, maybe something happens that we're all going to wish that it was Monday night. I don't know whether it's going to be a week. It could be.
It's definitely going to be election week, no matter what. As far as the counting and finding out more numbers every day, I suppose.
Yeah. So yeah, but I watched MSNBC this morning and then flipped over to NBC to Meet the Press, and they had kind of separate stuff. I don't know. It's bizarre, but Meet the Press kind of seemed like they're more in the middle. And they said, like, well, honestly, if Biden can secure Florida, we could hear early results and just say he's got it.
Yeah.
There's like key states, like 3 or 4 states,
Right.
that they're like, if those go to Biden or Trump, then we got a night, of just like, that's it. That's who we're projecting. And that's your, so it's kind of, I've heard 2 things of like, you can still win it, or and then I heard another one that kind of offset it. It was like, nah, Biden's doing good. Just you got to go out there and vote. And like, okay. So I don't know. It's just going to be, we're going to get some good news out of it, but
I don't know, man. Buckle up, everybody, because it's going to be an interesting week for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope everybody makes it out alive.
I don't know.
You can't not watch.
No.
Everybody wants to know what the hell's going on. And I don't know what's going to happen to all of the conservatives if it goes the other way for them, and how they're going to handle it. I feel like a lot of the GOP, they're supporting Trump just because he has the Republican name.
Yeah.
So
I feel that.
Maybe if he does get out of there, that things can kind of balance out a little bit for them, and they don't have to be all about the party. Yeah, right. And I guess I don't.
About the issues,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. I'm so over it.
I'm sitting there.
I'm over all of it.
Hanging out with my dad, and then I was like watching the TV, and I'm like, I hope we don't double down on racism. It's like, and a bunch of other stuff too, but it's just like having a second term is doubling down.
Yeah.
If it goes his way, it's like,
how can his entire base still be on board with him? I don't see how it's possible. I feel like there had to have been so many people that just wanted to try something different. And they were like, he's not like the rest of them. Let's give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. And we've even heard in interviews and in polls and all of that that's what a lot of people did. And they're fed up with
Yeah.
his shit. So logic dictates that those people would then go a different direction.
Sure.
It's just a matter of if
How
they're,
much?
and I don't mean this to sound the way that it's going to sound, but I stand by it. If they are smart enough to not vote third party.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Because,
libertarian.
well, the way that this system is set up, everybody should know that if you vote third party without the amount of support that you actually need for that other person, it's not gonna make a fucking difference. And you're throwing away a vote against Trump. Like, yes, you are voting against him, but you're not helping get rid of him.
Right. Yep.
And it's fucked.
Yeah. It is so weird.
There was a conversation in front of me last night at the karaoke booth. Two people that I know fairly well over the last couple years of working at the bar. One of them was talking to the other person about their choice to vote third party, and she was basically just calling him out in front of me and in front of him and anybody else that happened to be listening. But the music was very loud, so I think it was a limited area of insult. And she wasn't trying to be mean, but she was just letting him know, I respect your decision to do that, but also, what the fuck?
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know, man. I hope that that's not the case. And I hope that even the people that are big Kanye fans didn't be like, well, he's better, so let's just throw it that way. Because I'm pretty sure, I guess I could be wrong, but most of those people that would be voting for Kanye probably would go Democrat over Republican. I can't imagine a lot of Republicans that are also, let's say, racist would be voting for Kanye, right?
could be. Yeah. It's just frustrating, but it's also, I know that there's a population of people out there now that they voted, there's ads out there. I know people personally that have been Republican usually, and now they're like, this election, I'm going the other way just to kind of get things back in order.
And you keep hearing stuff about that, and you hear it enough that you've got to believe that it's going to go Democrat. But then again, like, we got so fucking duped last time.
Well, that shows that we're hopefully learning.
Right.
That you can't just, Hillary was divisive, don't get me wrong, but, it was also people assume she had it in the bag. And some people who don't really care about voting, you got to energize that base. But those enough people were like, meh, she's going to win it. No big deal. Didn't go out and vote.
Right.
And among other things too, but that was a big part of it. And now there's a big surge of like, make sure your vote counts. You can't get anyone out of office unless you vote. And, it's just kind of, I think we've turned it. I hope it goes one way, but we won't know. We won't know. I would hope, because I'm hearing a lot of stories in the last 4 years of people going, I thought he was the choice, but not so much. And of course, he has his base that will follow him no matter what.
Yeah.
But I would be, the idea of Trump seems interesting, but if he wasn't so...
Elaborate on that.
Like,
What do you mean?
Well, like, if he wasn't such an asshole, racist piece of shit, then it seems...
I don't know if you watched the debate. He is the least racist person in the room.
I'm just saying, like, a businessman that's not a politician, I'm like, sure, consider it. But with all the baggage that he has, that's just like, nope, like Elon Musk or like someone, Richard, if they ran, like, something to consider. Someone that's not like, okay,
I understand.
but it's just like, if he just wasn't such a piece of shit,
Shouldn't that be the basis for just things in general? Like, if you're voting for a CEO, or if you're voting for a president, or if you're voting for like anything, if you're voting for a Cub Scout leader, if it's between a person that is a known pile of shit and somebody that's a decent person, Which one do you go with? And I don't know. I don't know about all of the accusations against Joe Biden. Like, I know of them. I know of things. But I don't know how much of it has been substantiated. I know that there's clearly videos out there of him getting close to people and like, you know, the ones where you see there's the person here, the girl here or whatever, and he's just like leaning in close and it could be whispering or smelling. I don't know what's happening in those photos. But Trump, prior to the last election, talked about grabbing vaginas.
And he keeps hanging himself and nothing happens.
That's the thing. Like, how is that? And yes, it sucks that those are our two options. Yeah. It sucks that we didn't end up with a Buttigieg or Yang. Yeah, I would have loved to see where they could go, or Tulsi. I just don't think that for one reason or another, the majority of people were ready for that yet. Mm-hmm. Apparently, we're in old white dude mode.
Yeah.
That's the way that it is.
Back to it.
And I'm not saying that I'm a fan of it, but that's clearly where we're at.
We have to work what we
and
got.
Hopefully we will grow out of that. I mean, we did it once. Let's see if we can do it again.
Yeah.
And if something does end up happening to Biden and Kamala does a great job, awesome.
Great.
Then this is how it could be.
Yeah.
Fucking get more women in here and more people of color and all of that.
Yeah.
Fucking do it.
It's
great.
Stupid. Yep.
I'm getting upset. I don't even know what I was saying. What was I saying?
We're just venting, but Tuesday it's coming. And man, this week is going to be something else because tomorrow I got surgery. Tuesday's,
that's right. You're going to be peeing blood, bro.
Yeah, I don't know how much though.
Hopefully not a lot.
Tuesday's the election. Wednesday is my next treatment. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh my God. So I don't know what kind of mood I'll be in on Wednesday, depending on how everything unfolds.
Well, we're going to be here and we're going to talk about it.
Fuck.
It's going to be great. And you guys will hear it on a Thursday.
Yeah,
that's the way it's going to be.
That's how we shoot, yo.
Yeah, that is how we shoot, yo.
So I don't know. It's just I'm excited to see what history has. It was
history has its eyes on you.
Sucked on. Well, you know, I remember. I mean, you've told stories, but like, 4 years ago we were voting for Trump, Hillary. You know, we were. We had people who were like, "Oh, she's ahead. It's fine, no biggie." Mm-hmm. And then it was just like all the pundits were flipping couch cushions, looking for fucking votes for Hillary. Like, "Oh, I think it's under." Nope, no,
not there.
It's just like there was no. I guess other than Fox, I guess I flipped through like CBS and MSNBC, and every single person was like trying to find a way for it to work for Hillary. Mm-hmm. Like there was no matter of fact of like, well, this is the next president, and there was no conversation like that where it was just matter of fact. Mm-hmm. Every single person, if Hillary wants to win, she needs to have an outpouring of votes in this country and in this, or no, in this county over here. And like everyone had that, like that was the conversation.
Yep.
That was so weird. But then you don't know who you can talk to the next. I was in a different job 4 years ago though. You don't really know who you can talk to in my case, because I'm like, great. I was doing real estate.
That was a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Right?
I was doing real estate photography.
I mean, you could definitely see what people were depressed.
Yeah.
Out and about.
It was tough. I mean, like,
it was.
If I had the job I have now, like, I get it. Most people in my company, most people sway left,
Yeah. Well, here's another thing. I believe that we were of the proper age where it could actually affect us and affect our mood. It could affect, it was personal.
Yeah.
And I think because of our ages, that maybe played a bigger part. What I am curious to know is if, let's say, like your parents, if you were to ask them of a past election where they felt something so heavy,
Reagan,
like that you
Dad said Reagan.
Yeah,
I know that. But yeah, for me, I mean, like I feel like I couldn't go to anyone.
And where was
I mean,
he on that? Just in a nutshell.
He just didn't like Reagan, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was the same. There's some parallels to Reagan and Trump.
The actor.
With like, well, yeah, right? But it's a TV star, trickle down economics, and like, it was just kind of like, come on, what are you doing? Come on. You know, same kind of thing. We're just like, what the fuck did you say again? You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, 4 years ago, I didn't have a coworker that I knew that I'm like, dude, I know. You know, you couldn't really, because I was in my own car and I was going to strangers' houses all day, every day. And thank God it worked out that most of the houses were vacant and I could just go in and do my work and leave when I'm done.
Right.
That I didn't really have to, oh, I'm meeting the homeowner. I better just act like nothing happened because I don't know what side they're on. Oh, I'm meeting the realtor. Like, oh, now I'm in the middle. So I got to really be mindful of, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just kind of a weird, the first appointment of the day I had was with someone who was Asian, and then the realtor showed up. So I met with this homeowner and didn't acknowledge anything. Like, great, cool, let's move some stuff and do that. And then like maybe a half hour later, it was the realtor. You know, didn't know the realtor, but they decided to bring it up. What the hell happened last night? You know, I was just like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I just like I couldn't really talk much.
You're like, where are you going with this?
Like,
Because
what?
I don't know if we're on the same page.
I should have just been like, who won the football game? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
I love sports.
yeah.
Great.
So that was the gist of it. And then going back home and watching the news again, and they're like, what the fuck? I know. So I think the worst part is like living through it for election night and then getting out of your mood. And then January 20th comes up and then you're just like, I can't fucking believe this.
Yeah.
You know, you just see the change of power and you're just like, how the fuck's this happening? You know, there goes Obama and like a helicopter and you're like, no.
Come back.
It's noon. It's noon already.
God.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
I hope he does not do a library, a presidential library. There's going to be stupid ass quotes that are like, grab him by the pussy. Like, okay, kids. You know, like, kafifi. Like, fucking A.
I'm hearing things.
Yeah.
People are talking.
Sad.
This is the greatest library. Sad.
And
Donald Trump.
I don't know where, you know, some
Oh, God.
some presidents are buried at their library, so I don't know what his plans are.
Name one, because I don't know.
One that's, what are you talking about?
One that's buried at their library.
Reagan and Nancy.
Really?
Yeah, they are.
I didn't know that.
I think there's a president from Iowa that, what's his name? I don't know. It's like South Iowa. Like, it's pretty fucking,
Okay.
where is it? Yeah, there's somewhere, it's a ways from here. And then there's,
Was he a shitty president?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Google it.
Alexa, what president was from Iowa? She's got to come in handy.
There has been one president from Iowa. Herbert Hoover was born in West Branch,
That's right.
Iowa, and was the 31st president.
So there's a library there.
Thank Alexa.
Thank you,
goddammit.
Alexa. But I don't know where he's buried. Hey, Alexa, where's Herbert? You have to say, hey, Alexa.
No, you just say Alexa. You're
Alexa, what's up?
No, start over.
Alexa, where is Herbert Hoover's grave?
Herbert Hoover is buried at the Herbert Hoover Presidential Library and
Wow.
Museum in West Branch,
See?
Iowa.
So that's two.
She's actually coming in handy.
Yeah.
This is
Like, yes. That's why it's round. That's why it's round.
Wow.
You know, but
that was a visual for anybody.
yeah. John F. Kennedy is buried at Arlington, so that's not, you know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of, I've thought to myself about learning new things, and when it comes to learning about American presidents, like I thought about it, I just don't know if I care.
That's true,
Like I
yeah.
care about the future, but I don't know if I care about the history
Sure.
of that. If I'm gonna learn something, I'd rather learn like fucking French.
I think part of it was I was at that age where when History Channel came out in like early 2000s or whatever,
Yeah.
that was it. Like there was marathons of presidential history.
Fair.
This is how the president lives. this is what kind of travel they do, and they go into like the limo and Air Force One, and you just sit there and like suck it up, and you're like, what the fuck, and they just have, I don't know. I think I grew up with that in high school, where it's just like whatever's on, you're watching,
That's true.
and then
Yeah.
it's like, great, let's change it over to Dirty Jobs on Discovery Channel. It's like, I miss that show, but yeah,
Dirty
I
Jobs.
think that's kind of why I know rando facts of like,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know a lot.
Yeah.
I know that Taft was fat. That's
Wasn't he the one that had to get pried out of the bathroom or the bathtub? One of the presidents got stuck in the bathtub.
That would have been Taft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a
I
large
believe it.
man.
God.
And then Warren G. Harding, who I happen to share a last name with. I don't believe that there's any relation,
There
but I
should
haven't
be.
looked into it. Was one of the worst presidents ever. That's what I heard.
I wonder what the
People are
details are.
talking. I don't know this
I'll have to look
from
that up.
research. I just heard that he was a shit president,
Hmm.
and I'm grateful that he shares my name.
Ah, nice. And I think part of it was my eighth grade.
And then we also have Tanya Harding.
Yeah. See? Ah,
So we're a bunch of winners.
yeah. I think my eighth grade history teacher was really into like presidents and
Okay.
stuff. And she was like conservative, but she never said it, but it was obvious because she's like, I love the flag. And I'm like,
Yeah, I bet you do.
okay. So she like had like the flag, but like it was just like
too much.
I get it. Yeah.
Do
So
you love the flag, Joe?
I don't love it. It's like
It's boring, right? Who cares?
we can make it way better.
I don't care about the flag.
It's fabric.
And here's the thing.
It's
I
dyed
live in
fabric.
America, so I don't have to care about the flag.
It's dyed fabric.
It really is.
That's all it is.
That
But
you-
don't let it touch the ground. Oh,
who cares?
I know.
I've never owned a flag.
see, neither do I.
I don't know.
I don't have a flag in my house.
Yeah.
I grew up with one. Like we only put it out for like special occasions.
If they made a Back to the Future flag, I would buy it.
That'd be cool.
An American flag, I don't need it.
live it.
I appreciate America. I love America because of everything that
I just
can
don't
do
need
here,
a
that
prop
we can do here.
to go like, yeah,
Yeah, I don't. I don't need represent.
yeah,
I don't need that.
yeah. I'm already in it.
Yeah.
Like-
I'm here. We're
Yeah.
good.
What do you need?
Like, thanks.
Like Olympics? That's a different story.
Thanks for getting pregnant, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm here now.
Thanks.
It's wonderful. Thank you for your location
Yeah.
when all of this happened.
We're there. We're there.
Exactly.
Hold on here. So, Alexa, when was Jimmy Carter elected?
Jimmy Carter was elected as the 39th President of the United States on November 2nd, 1976.
76. Okay.
Okay.
So
So it was in 72.
oh, that makes sense. Okay. So 76. Mom graduated in 77.
Okay.
So I think 17 and a half, you can vote at 17 and a half.
Yeah.
So she said, that was my first, she told me this recently. She's like, that was my first election. That's the first official that I could actually vote for. And I voted third party. Like, what the fuck, Mom? And she's like, I just know I didn't like Carter and I didn't like who he was running against. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's like,
What is the point, Mom?
it was just funny that was the first. Here's the ink. Here's the paper.
Yep.
It's your first
And throw it away.
boop. I don't know. It's just like third party. Don't you have you? She's learned, but still, it's just
Oh, it's great.
like okay. It's like here's
Yeah, but your mom's sweet, so we'll give
Yeah.
it to her. That's fine.
the bowling ball. It's your first time going. And gutter. It's like yeah, okay, all right.
No. Other lane.
Other oh, it's like,
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, no.
It didn't. There was no score.
No.
Other lane. Wow.
so I thought that was funny. I'm like okay, and,
Yeah.
but yeah. I don't know what's in for Tuesday, but
Whatever it's gonna
we'll
be.
see. It'll be history.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah, buckle the buck up.
Fuckle the buck up.
That's right.
I like it.
I don't know, man, but I don't know. There's some cool history for hit presidents, and it's just kind of neat.
I feel like I'm spreading my legs too much.
Yeah.
It's like a weird.
Man spreading.
Well, there's like a camera on me, so I don't want to do that. No.
No,
It's too much.
whoops.
I feel like I was doing that.
are you on like the?
I didn't mean to. I was just trying to sit up. So
on
now
this-
I'm back to this.
You on the subway,
Don't worry about it.
and you're like, I'm
I've
sorry
never
if you're
done that.
Sorry if you're old and pregnant. Like,
I've never that's not a thing that I do, and I've never understood. And really, I feel like I cross my legs.
Yeah.
Like this.
I take out
like
what you-
exactly what I'm doing right now, more so than a lot of men. And I don't know if it's Like I feel like I have an average size penis. So
See?
like, I feel like is mine just more out front? I don't
guess.
have
I
I don't have much of a complaint.
Well, I noticed tall people do that more.
Yeah.
Just they take up just more space.
I'm not
don't
like some of our friends, mainly one in particular,
Yeah.
that says that their
9 feet
testicles end up in the toilet water. I don't
Oh.
have that problem. I don't have that problem. So I can cross my legs and it's not an issue. And that's probably the widest my legs have ever been. And I just realized that there was a camera on me. So apologies. Maybe I'll zoom in.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Not on that part, on the upper. I'll do the scream thing. I'll do the in
Nope.
Scream. Yeah, it'll be like above the guts.
Oh, you're cutting me so bad.
See how we brought it right back.
Above the guts.
That's right.
That's your
above
title.
Above the guts.
It doesn't have to make sense.
It doesn't.
No.
Well, I was gonna do fuckle the buck up.
Fuckle the buck up. That's right.
Maybe we need better titles.
Yeah.
we need to work on this.
Put some titles down below and we'll maybe use them in the comments.
I think we're done.
I think we're there.
Does that sound good?
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. Life finds a way.
Okay.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for checking in on us. We're still here, and we love you very much. And if you have a second, leave a review on the iTunes and leave a review. Can you do on Spotify? I think you can.
Maybe.
I think you can do a thing.
Try it.
Let people know about us. We would love to keep entertaining you for the ages.
Yeah. Leave a
and
comment, say
if
hi.
people know that we're worthy of listening to, that's awesome. Also, we're whores and we need
We need the attention.
we need your likes.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So do a like, do a subscribe, and tell a friend. Tell him about Joe and how he won't stop spreading his legs.
Nope. No.
So we will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.